We're feeling really good about, how we're doing today, continue to focus on our mission and building awareness about, really what we do that ultimately we know has transformed spine surgery. And so, continue to focus on the fundamentals and, it's ultimately going to be a really strong day for us.
For those who might not be familiar, Mike, just fill us in on exactly what you do. From what we understand, you guys do personalized surgery, which got one of our producers, Cece, a little worried because we thought all surgery was personalized. At least we hope that's the case when we go under the knife, so they say. So what exactly do you guys do?
Yeah, we've really taken a very different approach to what really a medical device company is. And so we are a medical technology company, and we work with surgeons and patients, and we take digital imaging of the patients as well as surgical inputs from the surgeon, create a virtual plan of that patient's surgery, and then we 3D print personalized devices for their spine surgery, build those on demand, delivered directly to the operating room. And ultimately what this does is this gives the surgeon really power to be able to perform very precisely what can be a really complex spinal surgery.
Mike, hi, congratulations on trading debut. I'm curious about your path to profitability because companies like yours typically require a lot of CapEx. Do you guys have any timeline in mind on when you become profitable?
Yeah, well, we haven't provided direct guidance to that. However, we have built our company very differently than a traditional medical technology company because we don't carry any inventory. Everything that we create is 3D printed directly on demand. And so as we think about this public offering, the use of capital to reinvest towards really our growth in being able to provide this technology to a lot more patients.
What's proprietary?
Yeah, ultimately, we have a broad technology platform that we built. And so as we think about rolling this out much more broadly, we've been able to create an end-to-end technology platform that is proprietary to us that we've called our digital production system. And this is a all-in-one system that allows us to take digital data about the patient, about the surgeon, create personalized plans and the devices to achieve those plans. And ultimately, when we started down this journey just a few years ago, this whole end-to-end process took us a little bit longer than 8 weeks. And now we've really reinvested in our proprietary system that allows us to do this in 2 weeks or less, which really allows these scheduled surgeries to be able to be done in the time that the surgeon and patient needs them.
Mike, why was an IPO the right move here? If the broad adoption by doctors around the US and around the world is your goal here, why not look to be acquired by, let's say, a Medtronic or a Johnson & Johnson or a Stryker that already has these relationships with doctors and can roll this out more broadly?
Yeah, we really, think about this much more than a product line and really much more as a new way to run a business because, very different than what the large players in this space do, which tends to be a very capital intensive business model. We've built this new business model, which is really digital first, allows us in conjunction with the surgeon to do the procedure digitally first and then make on demand everything that's needed. And so because of this, because of ultimately our ability to do this on demand, we built a very nimble, agile company that we can deeply target those key institutions and the patient population to directly deliver exactly what's needed. And we see this really as a platform technology that has a lot more applications, much beyond our current indications that we have for spinal fusion.
So can I just ask you, so does that mean you ultimately see yourself maybe for every complicated surgery figuring out how to do this? Just quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we see this as continued innovation, partnership with, you know, surgeons, as well as us on the technology side, to be able to provide a very novel, personalized solution to patients that ultimately drives better outcomes. Because as we've looked at our early data for spine fusion surgery, we've been able to materially improve outcomes for patients because we can directly personalize the devices needed for their surgery.
Mike, what is your tariff exposure?
Yeah, so we are 100% supply chain in the U.S., and so we're very well insulated from, you know, the news that's coming out around tariffs.
Hey, one thing I want to ask you though, in terms of the growth of the business, I know you're not going to give us anything on profitability or when you get there, but what's the growth that you are seeing in usage, growth in revenues? Can you give us some numbers? We are Bloomberg and you are public now, and ultimately you're going to be sharing this stuff. Just got about 40 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've grown phenomenally since we started, and we can report that you know, in the first quarter of this year, you know, we grew 100% year over year, and so, you know, we see this adoption very rapid with new surgeons, new accounts coming on board, and, you know, we anticipate, you know, continued wide adoption of this new standard of care.